This episode is brought to you in collaboration with Inspo, the social network for industry insights, knowledge sharing, and thought leadership. From sexual and reproductive health risks to high risk of non communicable diseases to unexplored health and wellness during midlife and beyond, women's health in the Caribbean has been coming more and more to the forefront in recent years. And here in Barbados alone, we see an increasing number of clinics specializing in women's healthcare. But what if you are not a healthcare professional and you want to play a role in addressing women's health and wellness issues? Well, my guest today is a Barbadian entrepreneur who is doing just that. Welcome, Mialisa Garnes. How are you?
I am well. Thank you for having me. Can't wait to get into our discussion today.
Do you aspire to an uncomplicated and fulfilling way of life? I'm Diane Squires, aka Deanne. That's what all my friends call me. I'm an island woman living on the island of Barbados and walking my path to a big and simple life. Walk with me and learn with me. Welcome to the Island Woman Podcast.
It is my absolute pleasure to have you. And just so you guys know, our audience, who Mialisa is and what she does, Mialisa Garnes is a digital strategist, a storyteller, and the founder of the Wellness Growth Agency, a boutique marketing firm helping women-centered health and wellness businesses grow with clarity and confidence. Based in Barbados, she combines her background in journalism, design, and digital marketing to support clinics, coaches, and wellness entrepreneurs across the globe. And Mialisa is like me. She's also the host of a podcast. It's called the Wellness and Growth Journeys Podcast, a space where she speaks about practitioners, advocates, and founders about what it really takes to thrive in health, business, and life. So again, Mialisa, thanks so much for joining us. I'm happy to have you here. And I want to kick off with something like I did this last week with my guests, and the answer was so much fun. So if you had to create a Caribbean survival kit for a woman entrepreneur, and you could only put 3 things inside, what is the first thing that you would put in that
Do
survival?
we have any space limits? Because
No, that was a
okay,
limit.
good. Okay, good. So the first thing is gonna be a portable AC unit. We need that in Caribbean. It is super hot. It is so hot.
And it is so hot right now. Oh my God. Portable AC unit. That's the first thing that you would put in.
First thing.
Okay.
Second thing would be Wi-Fi or dongle data. Anything. We just gotta be connected.
Have to have that connectivity. I'm on board already, so I can't wait for number 3.
I don't know if you'd be on board number 3, but number 3 is coffee. Because coffee we need that little boost to keep going. So those will be my 3 things. I really thought about this long and hard. I'm like coffee would have to be my third one. We need that. All right, fine. Maybe Caribbean I might say coconut water, perhaps.
Yeah, for the electrolytes because of the heat. To go to the AC unit.
Yes.
All right, cool. I'm on board with all 3 though. I feel a little bit sad because I can't have my coffee fully caffeinated these days, but I'm on board with those 3. That's totally. Sorry.
Those are the three things I think I would survive and I would be good. I'll be good.
All right.
Once I
Cool.
cool, once I got connection, and once I am hydrated. So yes,
Make them hydrated. So you put all of those things in your survival kit. And now we're just gonna go with a little bit more of you and how you got started. So I know that here in the Caribbean we have a lot. I mean, like a plethora of marketing agencies, and a lot of them tend to focus very broadly on many different sectors and industries. And that could be because our markets are small, but you're special because you chose a niche. Why did you choose a niche here in the Caribbean?
well, we were always that's a good point because when I got into marketing and wanted to create my own agency, I was like, Barbados kind of small. Like for me to niche down sounds kind of crazy. Because we're small, right? There are only a limited amount of businesses for each niche, and I pretty would be able to tap into those in like a day kind of thing, right? Um, so I actually had a mentor, a business mentor, and he was just like, "No, you have to niche down, you have to niche down," because I was thinking too small. I do not want to just stay in Barbados. I want to expand into to the Caribbean. I want to expand even to the US, UK, Canada, wherever, right? Because this niche is too small to be contained, right?
Mhm.
We talking about women's health and wellness. And through doing my podcast and my research before even getting into the niche, right? We all women go through similar things no matter where we are in the world. And that is
Boy.
something very apparent over the last year that I've been doing this. I was speaking to somebody in like Ukraine or somewhere, and she was like, "Yeah, what the doctor was telling her when she was pregnant was like similar things the doctor was telling me when I was pregnant as well." So it's like we go through similar things as women, no matter where we are, and no matter how developed or underdeveloped our country is, which is insane, which is absolutely crazy. So I mean, there's a lot of kind of story and history behind why I chose women's health and wellness. But the one main example for me was that when I was pregnant after I had my son, first of all, it was called geriatric pregnancy. So apparently, I was in this kind of category.
Oh, you know what? Okay. So you chose the niche because you're not thinking about our market specifically, or rather, you're thinking about the Caribbean broadly. And then you're also thinking about the rest of the world because women's health issues are just women's health is anywhere. Hey. And now we're into the second question. I think you started here because there must have been personal triggers for you. That's what you were getting into, the reasons why you became interested specifically in the health and wellness sector. So tell us about those specific triggers for you.
Oh, there were so many different triggers. I think the first one was me getting pregnant after 35 and being labeled as a geriatric pregnancy, right? And then the things that I then had to go through in terms of like the tests that I had to do to make sure that baby was okay because I was over the certain age limit. And things that I had to eat. Like I had to be, I wanted my child to be healthy. So I did what I needed to do. But there was that guilt that kind of came with, wait, I waited too late to have a kid, and it was like it wasn't like I was waiting either, it was like I was trying, but it just so happens that I got pregnant after 35, which apparently is seen as this big no-no. Um, but so that was the first thing, and then the second thing is, I had my child during COVID, right? So I didn't have that kinda village that everybody talks about you having when you're pregnant or you should have when a baby comes, right? So I wanted that, and I kinda looked for that, online, and so I found communities on Facebook and online with women who were all over the world, and we were just kinda supporting each other. So I'm in this Facebook group, it's like Moms Over 35, that's what it's called, and, you know, I realized that we are more similar than we think. Like geography doesn't really play much of a difference for the issues that we kind of go through, right? And so we would share what issues that we have there, whether it be like a psychological, mental, or even something to do with the baby, and then everybody would comment. And I realized that the answers were varied. Some of them were good, and some of them I thought, no, 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 you shouldn't be telling anybody this. And there was a lady who was suffering from incontinence, so she posted that as a post in the group, and there was a myriad of responses, some positive and some I thought was a bit questionable. So there was a few that was like, "Oh, I just wear pads every day just in case accidents happen." And there was like one woman who said that she wears adult diapers every day because she can't bear, with the embarrassment. And I was like, no, 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 there has to be something out there for us, that we don't have to wear adult diapers after we have a kid because of fear of, wetting ourselves from laughing or coughing or something like that. Right. And so even though these women were from around the world, like even in the countries that you think would have more access to, help, these women were saying stuff like just wearing adult diapers. So it kind of like, okay, there's not enough being done clearly in
Yeah.
terms of education, right? For women when it comes to the things that we go through in life.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is I commended the lady for actually putting that in the group because I find that we think that we can't share these things because we're embarrassed about it. But these are things that we're going through that we need help with, right? So, like those things, and then of course, I was going through my own things because I also suffer with incontinence as well. And I thought I I didn't have, like, the embarrassing thought about it, but more like, why isn't nobody talking about this? And why don't I immediately know what to do when I'm going through this? So that really all this really was a catalyst for the podcast and the agency.
Feeling lost in the noise of social media? Inspo cuts through the clutter, connecting you directly with real insights from real experts and industry leaders. It's a new social network dedicated to knowledge sharing, industry insights, and thought leadership. Get the latest from top minds in your field, or build your own thought leadership portfolio on Inspo. Already trusted by thousands of professionals worldwide, be part of the conversation and download Inspo Experts today on the App Store or visit www.inspo.expert.
So now you know that you wanted to start the agency. You got the advice from your mentor. No, we need to niche down. We're not doing this whole broad thing like how everybody else does it. And then you discover, but hey, wait, I can niche down, but I can still grow because there's several people who will have this issue or these issues. But how did you really decide that, look, yeah, this is definitely a viable business option? A digital marketing agency that's focusing on women's health and wellness.
I realized that marketing was really the missing piece of the puzzle, right? So that's why I decided to focus only on that. And I really wanted to bridge the gap between the professionals and women because I felt for some practitioners, they would give doctor speak, which was, I don't know what that means. Yeah, I mean, it, your work and you know what you do and you know how you can help, but I don't think it was being translated to women. Um, in the way that we needed it to be, right? We need to be educated about certain things and we need you to break it down for us. What does that mean? What does that mean for my everyday life? How does this change how I'm living every day? So I think that that was the missing piece and the missing link for me. That I feel like I could fill with my agency.
Yeah. And the thing is, I think maybe some practitioners, if you're a medical professional, you are bound by certain medical ethical standards that kind of prevent advertising or marketing in a certain kind of way. So there are those barriers as well, but there are ways to get around them because you're targeting not just the practitioners, but you're thinking about their clinics or their practices. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes. So a way around the blatant advertising, right, really is the education side of it, right? So each clinic, yes, I know that you could be a generalist as well, but I find once you also have to kind of niche down or have like a particular area that you focus on specifically. For instance, right, if you are a clinic that just focuses on menopause, for instance, right? And you're saying, okay, I could help you pre-menopause, during menopause, and also post-menopause. And therefore, the content then that you put out on your socials is around that, so that if you're going through something like that as a woman, because we're gonna go through it all of us, right? When we get to that stage, your clinic immediately comes top of mind and you say, you know what? I'm going through this. I know this clinic, they're always talking about things you could do, food you could eat, exercises you could do, treatments that they have. So your clinic now is top of mind for that woman, and then I'm sure she'll call and book an appointment with you.
Yeah, that's
Even more sure, even more than any other doctor that she probably, don't know about.
I'm glad you gave that example because your agency is a digital marketing agency that can run the gamut from your website content creation to your email marketing to the content marketing to social media, like you just mentioned, paid advertising, and so much more. But say you are a women's health and wellness clinic, and that's how you position yourself in the market, and you're just starting out, you have a small budget and you want to undertake this digital marketing thing. What would you say to that person or those founders? What should they have as the most important thing that they put in place first on the digital side and why?
No, I would suggest you don't need a big fancy ad campaign or anything. You do need visibility. You need clarity. Which is going back to, who you serve specifically. And then trust. Trust is a big issue. And trust when it comes to anything to do with medicine and health and wellness is the biggest. It's the biggest thing, right? That you should focus on. The other thing is do not go. I know there are a lot of platforms, right? But just pick one. Pick one platform where you believe majority of your potential patients are on and just focus on that. And you need to stay consistent with it and kind of just start building out your community. The other thing I want to say is that a lot of clinics, because they are busy, they really neglect the human side of the content. So it would be a lot of what I call static posts. Maybe you would have like a little image of maybe a doctor, that kind of thing. You need to put your face out there. That's why I tell everyone that I talk to, you have to put your face out there. Um, because people like to do business with people. They don't like to do business with billions. That's what this also what I say. People like to do business with people.
Yeah, and the thing is with health practitioners, I think it's a little bit different too because people don't see it as business. This is my health. This is somebody that I want to trust with my health. Like you said, that's coming back to that. Trust is so big. And I think a lot, especially in that sector, a lot of people will go by recommendations as well and referrals. Because you have a good experience with that person because, I'm thinking about something, but I don't really want to put my health and my body or whatever in anybody's hands. So I agree with you that having that educational content and the face behind it is so important. I remember we live in small communities, so the community doctor, everybody would know who that person is. I mean, you would see their face because you're seeing them almost every day or whatever. And your grandmother's going to that person, your auntie, your uncle, the name is being called all the time. Sometimes people are discussing what the doctor told them, a doctor by the name. So it's that kind of community feeling that I feel people value, especially with their health. And so to me, no matter what platform you're on, online or offline, you kind of have to bring that feeling to people.
It's true. I even though I think things were definitely changing because I did have the experience with the community family doctor. Like whenever something is wrong, that's the only person you go to. And it doesn't even matter what is wrong. Everything is possibly wrong. They're just a generous doctor. You go into them and they can help you and they can start you. And you have full trust in them because like you said, your sister, your aunt, your mom, your dad, everybody went to this doctor and they speak very highly of them. I found as I got older, and then there are specialists, doctors in different areas, especially when I was pregnant and having an OBGYN. It was really important for me. I realized I didn't know this is something that I needed, but I want if you give me an appointment that you stick to it. Like I didn't know that was the thing that I needed until I got it. And when I got it, I will not compromise on it anymore.
Yeah. You could get in that office at 12 o'clock if the appointment was 12 o'clock. Oh my gosh, that is priceless.
Because the community family doctor, you were outside of their office before their office was open and there was a line, right? And you were there from like 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock. I can't remember what crazy hours, but it used to be way early. We gotta get on there early because we want to be the first in and we want to be the first that the doctor sees. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the anxiety about that, this thing you're feeling good, and the anxiety about that, and then you having to spend literally the whole day, it felt like, at the doctor's office, before you could get seen, and then you gotta get the meds, and then you can finally come home and get some rest. The anxiety and the pressure around that, I didn't realize that that was something that I needed to be fixed. So when I had the first opportunity, I was, okay, your appointment is 10 o'clock. Okay, and I go in at 10. And then just, okay, the doctor will see you now. And I was like, really? Really?
You're never going back again to that other situation. Never.
No, no. So that was one. The other thing that I didn't realize that I needed was the doctor actually asking me outside of what I'm there for, how I was doing, and actually listening and actually offering advice. You know, it's something, yes, you pay for the consultation, but it's something that I don't even think you could pay for, that kind of care. And it is something that I believe everyone deserves, yes, but impartial. Women deserve as well. So, yes, if you tell me my appointment is 10 o'clock, please let it be 10 o'clock or not too far from the 10 o'clock, right? Please offer an environment where I could come and I could really share what is going on with me. And then you could help me in a holistic way. Um,
You know, Melissa, I'm so glad you brought that up because earlier you said that you felt marketing was the missing link. And this is really where marketing fills the gaps. You talked about education, you talked about what women really want to know, what a patient really wants to know, how a patient really wants to feel when they're coming into contact with their healthcare provider, their wellness provider, whoever it is. And that's something that marketing does. It connects the two people. You've got the practitioner over here with their expert knowledge, and then you've got the patient over here with their needs, their specific care needs, and the things that they want to feel, either when they come into contact with that care practitioner for the first time, or if they're going to continue to have a relationship with them. As a matter of fact, it really depends on whether they decide to continue that relationship with the provider. So I think you are right that the marketing does provide that bridge to the two.
yeah.
All right. So, well, that brings me now to your podcast because yes, you have the digital marketing agency that's going to do, the content marketing and that educational content and so on, and building up the trust by having those professionals be on the platform, show their faces, and share that educational content. Why was it important to you to create the Wellness and Growth Journeys podcast?
Well, the podcast for me, oh my gosh, is like, I don't know, fivefold. No, I feel like women in wellness don't often have the space to tell their stories beyond, Instagram posts. And so I wanted to kind of create that platform. I started with women first, and women will always kind of be my main focus when it comes to guests for the podcast.
One second, I'm sorry. And when you say women in wellness, you mean the practitioners themselves? So whether you're an esthetician, or OBGYN, or menopause
Nutritionists,
gotcha.
yes, the women in the health and coaches, health coaches, life coaches. We interview all of these women in under the health and wellness niche, and it's been a really really wonderful journey, um, and I feel like we don't really have the space beyond social media to kind of tell these stories because the podcast really is made up of the journey of the wellness practitioner into why they're doing what they're doing, because it's always a really good story, behind the scenes story, and it shows really that what they're doing is kind of purpose led and not like a money led. I go and start a business. It's like purpose led. I have goosebumps even talking about it, and you could hear like the passion for why they're doing what they're doing, right? And I feel like that needs to be amplified because then it would draw their people to them when they hear that, right? So I'd start off definitely with the behind the scenes. And unfortunately, majority of them, I realize, start what they're doing, or fortunately, because we will benefit, they start what they're doing because they couldn't get the help that they needed, right? So they're like, oh, I'm gonna have to be my own savior here and fill the gap because I can't get the help that I needed because and you hear stuff like I was going to multiple people and everybody was telling me nothing was wrong with me, even though I felt like something was wrong with me. Until finally I either diagnosed myself by researching and doing and studying, or I finally found somebody who would listen to me and who would take the time to do the research and really find out what was happening with me and then help me to get better. And because of that, then no, I am now, the health coach or the nutrition coach or something. And I want to help other women who feel like no one's listening to them, kind of, solve whatever health issues that they're going through. Um, so that was the first and main reason for the podcast. Um, so it's also a way to educate. It's also a way to connect to my I guess my target audience, my clientele, right? And I find out what's really going on in the industry, right? Only because I got into the health and wellness niche that I know about like HRT and Ozempic and all these kind of things are going around in the market and hold all these things could affect you and affect your health, right? And then the last part of it really was selfish, I want to say selfish, on my end, because I just wanted to know. I personally wanted to know how to live a better, happier, healthier life after 35. That was it. And I'm like,
Which is kind of full circle because that's how you started with the Facebook group when you were pregnant. You just wanted to know.
yes, yes. And I'm like, other women probably want to know too. So I want to ask the questions. I want to ask all the questions. Like, okay, yeah, I hear you about eating healthy, but I have a husband and I have a kid and they have different menus and I have I'm an entrepreneur and I'm busy. How do I traverse all these things? How do I get this done? It sounds pretty for you to say we should exercise, we should eat healthy, we should get 8 hours of sleep, we should drink a lot of water. You know, it's okay for you to say that, but how do I do that? And how do I maneuver around my life, trying to keep all these check boxes things of you say this is how I live a healthy, happy life. How do I do this? Right? So I really want to be the voice for women and just ask the questions like, yes, I hear you, but how? And why is this important?
I know that you talk to a lot of these health and wellness professionals from across the world, but as a Caribbean woman yourself, thinking of our communities, what threats to women's health and wellness really alarm you the most? You're kind of immersed in the space now, as you say. What do you find most alarming for Caribbean women when it comes to health and wellness issues?
Ooh, we settle.
Tell me more.
We settle. We settle when it comes to relationships. We settle when it comes to career, and we settle when it comes to just mental. Um, I feel like we just have to take it, and we just have to like, well, this is the life I have, so like that's it. And I feel like um we kind of feel pushed down. Um, which is really sad. I guess that's why my face looks like this because like I talk to so many women who want to do something else and they just feel like they can't because okay, my children big now and or and yeah, I got a job here and I've been working here for a certain amount of years and so it'll be kind of silly for me to like quit now just to pursue this. And I feel like that's the biggest thing when I speak to women.
Mm.
Like we have dreams and things that we want to do, but we just we just put ourselves last continually. And it's not just women who have kids, and it's not just women who are wives, it's just women in general.
And that takes it back to how you treat yourself, your body, all the physical attributes about you that need to be taken care of, all mental attributes about you that have to be taken care of. This is like the wide gamut of health and wellness. Like if I'm putting myself last, I put in myself last. So that means I'm not taking care of my body. I'm not taking care of my mind. Less so for us women in the Caribbean, I'm not taking care of my spiritual because I think we're still very, either religious or spiritual in a way. That's something that very, very traditional and still huge.
I was just gonna say that
So
that
feels
feels
like
like a cultural thing.
that there first, that will sort out everything else.
And it's that's not the case for sure. Yes, your spirituality is important, but I mean, if you think about it holistically, you will feel like something is missing. And then you'll probably be like, oh, well, maybe I just need to get deeper with God and that kind of stuff. So, hello, God probably looking at you like, hello, you ain't eat nothing today. You really should go for that walk. Furthermore, go out with your girlfriends though. And like go to the beach or something. Like
Like I gave you a body to use it in many different ways, like move it.
hey,
Yeah,
go have some fun.
yeah.
And maybe there's also the guilt that comes with us thinking that we can't sit down and relax. I don't know where we get it. Probably parents. To be honest, we do have a lot of childhood trauma that we need to get over because as soon as the see us sitting there for 5 minutes, when yeah, but do saying like the feel like you can't like sit down and relax kind of thing. And I feel like that translated into me being like I can't, especially if I see like my husband cleaning, like I'm feeling like actually like I need to be doing something too. No, just sit down, relax, read a book, watch some TV, play a little game on your phone. Do something, guys. Like life is too short. Life is too short. We don't know when our time is up. Like, do not have regrets, right? Don't have regrets. If it's that you want to go to Disney World, just plan it and then go. Like, of course, you can't go tomorrow, but you have to plan it. But please, like, put it in the works because we don't know when our time is up. And I don't want to sound so morbid, but I lost a lot of people over the last year. That is just like this kind of start reminder of that the old people say you don't got time put down, you don't got tomorrow put down, right? So you really just let's start living.
That is a lovely note to kind of wrap up on. Oh, Mialisa, I want to thank you so, so much for being my guest on the Island Woman podcast. But before you go, of course, we have to let everyone know how they can reach out to you or to the Wellness Growth Agency anytime that they want to. So tell them how they can reach you.
Yes. So you can visit my website, wellnessgrowthagency.com, or you can send me an email. It's mialisa@wellnessgrowthagency.com. I'm also on Instagram. You can find my Instagram, you can find me on YouTube. I'm also on Facebook. And I'll be more than happy to respond back to you as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. If you have made it to the end of this wonderful episode with us, thank you so much for taking the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you as well.
If you liked it, share it with a friend or leave a comment or both. And if you watched this on YouTube, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe,
Comment, guys.
comment. Thank you. Click the bell icon to get notified every time a new episode goes live because you do not want to miss it. This has been episode 9, season 2 of the Island Woman podcast. I'm your Island Woman, Diane Squires, aka Deanne. Until next time, peace.
Bye.